So welcome back everybody to my channel. This is the lovely Avery. She's going to be helping me with today's demo. This is about this software here that I'm using to tethered shoot. And the question is this the best tethering software out there? And currently the answer is absolutely yes. And I'm going to show you why. Some things I do want you to know is there's some really good things about this software. There are some bad things as well that I do need to point out. And Avery, do you think I should go over all the good stuff first, or should I point out the bad stuff first?
I feel like starting with the bad stuff would be a good idea.
That's a good idea. I'm going to go over the bad because currently there isn't too many bad things, but I am going to point them out to you right now. And here's the first bad. Internet connection is a big thing. You can use this software, and this is something I'm going to go over in the good stuff. You can use this software without internet connection. This software can edit as we go, which is going to be in the good section. However, if you don't have an internet connection, it will not edit the photos. They will still appear, but it will not actually go through its editing software. But the whole point of using this software is the editing software. There are other reasons to use it as well, and that you don't need the editing software. We're going to go over those later, but for now, just know you can't use the editing part of this because it is web-based without an internet connection. And that brings us to number 2. So another thing deals with that same thing with internet connection. If you have no internet connection or you have a bad internet connection, up top here you get this continuous annoying pop-up, no connection established. It drives me crazy, and that is a negative. And now on to negative number 3. So here's the secondary screen issue, and please Evoto, fix this. We should have a full-time second screen, even when we're just using the app, not even tethered. It'd be nice to be able to use a secondary screen to see our image, while if you notice here, Evoto's actually on my computer. This is a secondary image. It's great to have, but it has a huge problem, and I'm going to show you that issue right now. It only works when your camera is on. If I'm shooting and I'm between shots and we're going to take a little break, maybe do an outfit change, I like to turn my camera off. I turn it off, and here's the issue. The secondary screen drops. Evoto's now over here, I only have access to that. That is a big problem. So here's the kind of fix. I usually don't use that secondary screen. It would be really nice to be able to use it because I love the way it looks. There's some things you could do with that secondary screen as well, but here's how I normally fix it. What I do is I just take Evoto, which you can see is on my laptop down here, and I just move Evoto over to this screen, just make it larger, and to get a large image, just double tap on one of these icons and you'll see that it makes the image full size on the screen. I use Evoto, and I use it for everything it's good for. And the good thing is when you're tethered, those things that I would normally sit down and edit, I can have Evoto do it as I'm actually shooting. The model here, she actually will see those edits in real time on the screen. She doesn't even have to see the photos if she doesn't like the way they look before the edit and likes the way they look after the edit. That's what she'll see. I also can use the model here to help me set up the edit. Once you take a photo, you can set Evoto up that every continual photo after that will follow that previous image. That's something you can set up in Evoto. This video is not about that. My tethering video that I did several months back, there's a tethering video here on YouTube that shows the setup. It shows how to get Evoto up and running, connection to your camera, which equipment you need. Watch that video. It's here on my channel. But right now we're just going to get into the shoot. And as I'm shooting, the model again will see what I'm shooting, and I can take one of her images, have her actually guide me through what she wants, or I could do something, show her, and if she likes it, we can continue shooting and she can see that edited image. Now, here's one great thing that a lot of people don't know about Evoto, and I want you to keep this a secret. You can download Evoto, you have to sign up, and use it as tethering software. You don't have to pay anything. You only have to pay for credits when you export the image. So if you like to do your own editing in other apps, go ahead and do that. But the cool thing is, while you're tethering shooting, the client can see what Evoto is doing, doesn't have to see your dirty backdrops, doesn't have, you can already dodge and burn, you can clean up the skin, you can do hair work, you do all that. That's what they're gonna see. Now, it's 100% free. It's up to you if you want to buy into Evoto and then use their credits, which personally, I recommend doing. So on screen, I just posted my link and it's also in the description below. That's my referral link to Evoto. And if you sign up through my link, I get a little bit of extra credits. It's not huge, but it will help me some. So here's another great part of Evoto, and I really love this part. Evoto is a full editor. It's just not coloring that like Lightroom does. With Lightroom, if you do their tethering, yes, you can have it do your color work live. But what you can't do is have it edit the photo live. Evoto does all of that live. That's why I use this. This is the end product that the customer is seeing, and that's what I want because that helps me get more clients. That also helps my client enjoy her images better. It's just an overall great experience. So now we're gonna get into the shoot. You're gonna see me shoot her live. I'm gonna have her look at her images. You're gonna see Evoto functioning. And stick around, we're gonna see the results that we get. And again, you're gonna see why I love Evoto as a tethering software. So now let's get into Evoto itself. I'm gonna start taking pictures of Avery. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a decent picture of her, more of a portrait. This is gonna be a fashion shoot. And then I'm gonna bring her over and I'm gonna let her guide me through the edit. Normally I would just do it on my own, but I want you to see how a client can interact with Evoto as well. First things first, turn your camera on. So there's a shot of Avery, and you're gonna see it shows up on the screen. Now I'm gonna bring her on over, and I'm gonna open up the editor part. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go through a little bit of an edit, and she's gonna see it as I go, and she can decide if that's what she wants or not. Normally, like I said, I do this on my own. Sometimes I let the client see it after the edit's been completed, but I'm gonna let her help me because she's here and we're going over the software together. So we edited one photo together. Now every photo I take from here on out will edit with this edit. One of the reasons I got Evoto is because I was doing some research about how do I in my studio clean up my backdrop easy. I was getting kind of sick and tired of manually doing it. And I was doing some research years ago, and I guess Evoto had just come out, and one of the first things they had was a backdrop cleaner. And with that backdrop cleaner, with one click, I can clean my backdrop. And I can have it being done live. I'm going to show you that now. Now I am using white paper and a good amount of light, but there is a lot of dirt here. I'm going to put it up on screen and you're going to be able to see it. And I'm going to show you with one click how I can change the backdrop. And I'm just going to go to clean backdrop, and I leave that running all the time. See down here, all the dirt's gone, all the little lines.
Yeah.
See that dirt there, it's just gone.
Yeah. Wow.
What a beautiful image too. Now, another big thing that I love with Evoto that I leave running all the time, and there's a reason I went really wide with this image. Here, come over here, I'll show you. I like to leave this running most of the time, and if it's kind of screwed something up, I will turn it off because it can take things that are supposed to be in the image and mess it up. But in the case of this image, I got all this background in here. I just hit distraction removal.
Wow.
Voila.
That's awesome.
And I'll, like I said, I'll leave that running when I'm shooting on paper because sometimes you overlap the paper, you get the change, you get the ceiling, you get the floor like you see here. And when the client sees this, it's much better than seeing this. Is that much better than seeing that?
Yeah.
Now, we did go to the extreme just to show this. So again, I leave this distraction removal running, especially when I'm shooting with paper and there's stuff that could overlap. So let's say I was doing a shot of her and I caught some part of my studio in it. Now watch what happens here on the screen. This is happening real time. It's gone. This was before and after.
Wow.
Love that part. There's a few other things I really do like. I really like the eyes, to get rid of the red veins in the eyes. I leave that running all the time. I'll leave my basics of Evoto running all the time. My blemishes, some dodge and burn, some skin touch-ups, and just minor, depending on the client, sometimes you might want to go over the top. And as I'm taking the images, they're going to be edited already. And again, keep this in mind. This can be used free. Quick story, I had someone in my studio who was doing a shoot and he was using the back of his camera, and I asked him, do you by any chance have your computer with you? He said, yes. I said, do me a favor, download Evoto. He's like, oh, I don't want to pay for it. I said, don't worry, it's free. You just have to sign up. He signed up, hooked him up to my monitor. They were using my monitor the whole time. He never even had to use Evoto credits, didn't have to pay for anything. He was able to use the software. He was able to do things like fixing all of this background so that the client could actually see that. Even if he didn't want to use Evoto and he wanted to go to Photoshop later and take all this out, you can at least see what it's going to look like. So that's another great thing about Evoto. Back to the shoot. Let's have fun. Now Avery and I, we're just going to shoot. We're going to have fun. Check out these results. That's it. That's our video. Hope you enjoy. Hope you learned a little bit. Know why I love Evoto. Avery, did you like that experience, being able to see your images like this?
That is my favorite part about shooting with you, is the fact that I can see it, visualize it while I'm shooting. I can make adjustments to my poses and whatever else.
And that comes down to tethering in general. Tethering is a great thing. A lot of you know that. But Evoto has made it even better.